Welcome to the Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life and homeschool you love. One founded on faith, family, freedom, and fun. I'm your host, Julie Ross, creator of the award-winning homeschool curriculum, A Gentle Feast, and a certified Christian life coach. For more information on today's episode and to access my free gift for you, check out thefeastlife.me. Charlotte Mason once said, "Life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time." So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. Girl, grab your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You are welcome at this table. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Feast Life podcast. I'm your host, Julie Ross, and today I'm here with Jill McAleer. And today we're going to be talking about health and fitness, which is something I am super passionate about. And Jill is a gentle feaster and has been a part of some of my programs. And when I saw her posting about some of the things that she's been doing in her own life, I'm like, Jill, I need to talk to you because homeschool moms need to hear your story and what you've been building in your own life, and just hopefully this will encourage and help some moms who may be struggling in this area. So before we dive into that topic though, I would love, can you just give everyone a little bit of background, like of your family and like your homeschool journey to start with?
Sure, I would love that. That's my favorite topic. So I was born and raised in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So I don't know if
Parlez-vous français?
Maybe je parle français. My first 10 years of schooling was all in French.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, and so I am an unapologetic city girl through and through. My husband and I met in university in Montreal, where my major was a very obscure program called Community and Ethnic Studies. It was like a mold of sociology and anthropology. And I wanted to be an anthropologist and go into jungles and study people. But I feel like I have 4 little humans that I can study at home. So
yeah, you live in the jungle every day. Yeah.
Exactly. And my husband was a history and a poli-sci major, and we met in an American history class that I literally knew nothing about. A gentle feast is totally schooling me on my American history.
That's awesome.
And will prepare me for my citizenship exam eventually. We moved here shortly after my husband and I got married, and I was 28. My journey with the pursuit of optimal nutrition started over 15 years ago, and I initially fell in love with learning about power foods and superfoods and really how nutrition has a direct impact and almost immediate effect on our physical, mental, and emotional state. And I actually became a certified holistic health coach in 2013. Then between 2015 and 2020, I had a bunch of babies, one after the other. So my oldest is 8. So I have an 8, 7, 6, and 4-year-old. So it was just a crazy couple of years. And that 4th one was right in the middle of a pandemic.
Oh, wow.
It was, and that was the year I also decided to start homeschooling as well. I was up in the air, but then when COVID hit, I was okay, I guess we're doing. So it was a big year of transition. And we just love hanging out and being together. This is what they know. Homeschool life and outdoor life. And we've really just gleaned the really beautiful parts of these early years of homeschooling. So.
Yeah.
Life
through this. So we're all in little kid mode, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get back into the nutrition and coaching, or was that always a part, even in the whirlwind of all the babies and stuff?
So I really do feel like throughout my pregnancy and then postpartums, one after the other, because of my training as a health coach, I feel like I had a pretty solid foundation of what healthy eating looks like and what that feels like and what are the components of that. However, I really felt like something else was missing. So in my health coaching training, we learned just a lot of different types of diets and different styles of eating and the pros and cons of everything. But there was something missing And although I had like really solid eating patterns, like the content of my diet was still pretty like 80-20. I knew what I needed to eat, I knew what it looked like, but I honestly just didn't feel good. There was a sense of managing my expectations. I had four
Right.
children in under 5 years.
Yeah, right.
But I'm like, I identify as a very high energy person, high capacity person, and it's humbling to just feel like you're flat on your face and you can't
Mm.
um, get things done. And again, managing expectations, season of life. I talk through all sorts
So,
of things like
so
this
important. Yeah, that's so
it,
important.
with clients, but I knew something was off with my nutrition, right? I couldn't figure out why. I just didn't feel good overall. Like I had very low energy, four children in 5 years. I nursed them all and then decided to homeschool in
Yeah.
2020, but I could not mentally and physically commit to healthier habits. I couldn't commit to fat loss. I just had no energy. And I wasn't happy with that. I felt like something was missing in my approach. So
Yeah.
I began actually working with a nutrition and fitness coach, and she started to talk to me about macronutrients and how to support our body's metabolic health through adequate energy consumption. And that turned everything around because I realized, as nutrient dense as my current diet was, I actually just wasn't fueling myself with enough energy to
Mm.
sustain myself. And that was a really big thing because I was like, I feel as moms, we often function at a deficit, right? We're deficient. And so we can feel like we're deficient in so many areas, but we just gotta keep going.
We're running
However,
on fumes, right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And that's not the optimal way to function. We all know that. We
Yeah.
all encourage each other as moms, as coaches to seek better because we deserve better, right? You need the rest, you need the community. The same thing goes with our nutrition, right?
Yeah.
We need to understand like what a balanced nutrition looks like and prioritize that if we really want to have optimal results and perform optimally. I just loved talking about it so much and I just shared it with people all the time. I went on, so I also like work out very frequently. I always have before babies, during babies. And another big thing was I wasn't recovering well after recovering after workouts. Just everything was driving me crazy about my approach. And the big key was
Yeah.
nutrition and energy. And I was like, here I am taking care of four kids, homeschooling, still forcing myself or enjoying, because I really do enjoy working out. And I'm like, I just didn't have the energy to sustain myself. Like I just didn't because I wasn't fueling myself properly. And that was just like a big thing. Oh, I need to be eating enough. I
Mm.
know what to eat, but I just need to be eating enough.
No, that's really important
I
because I feel like we can
mhm,
be like, I'm gonna start all these healthy habits and I'm gonna do all these things, and then working out, it's great. We can build that habit. But if we feel constantly like we're tired and we
mhm,
have to drag ourselves to do it, and then afterward we still feel tired or more tired,
mhm,
right? Your body's
mhm.
not gonna be like, you're not gonna be motivated to want to keep doing it.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this
And
is
then
hard, this
that's the
stinks,
whole
this isn't getting the results I want, and you give up really easily without realizing like there might be more to it than all of that. And I do feel like homeschooling is like running a sprint every day. Or I mean,
mhm.
you have to be on your A game. July right now, and you see all these Olympic athletes, all these
Sure.
things that they
Yeah.
do. Like we see them for this like 100
Exactly.
meter dash or whatever, not even 30 seconds. They're like 0.2
Yeah.
seconds for that race, but we don't see the hours of discipline that it takes for that 30
Mhm,
second sprint. And so I really feel like we can focus so much on all like the details of just even homeschooling or mom duties and mom life without missing like the big picture of, are
mhm,
we actually taking care of ourselves enough that we are
mhm.
like training for this race?
Exactly, exactly. And all those athletes, they are fueling themselves. They have to, or else they can't run off of fumes. That's just like high level right there. But I feel like we need to look at our lives and see how can I live my life and perform the duties that I need to do at this high level. We need to learn how to fuel our bodies properly and responsibly.
Yeah, so
And
let's dive into that for a second because you said
mhm,
some
yeah,
words that I don't even know what you're talking about. So
yeah.
what do you mean by macronutrients?
Okay, and that's funny. So basically, what happened after 2021 when I started working with my own coach, like I said, I just loved talking about it. So macronutrients are the big building blocks that our bodies, you, I, everybody needs to survive. So that's carbohydrates, protein, and fats. So carbs and fats give us, those are the energy building blocks. So our bodies crave carbs and fats as the optimal source of energy. Protein is super, super important. Most people are under proteined, and that helps with like recovery, with repair, with building muscle. So we need every single macronutrient. And what I learned through my coach and what I later learned as I trained under macro mentorship nutrition certification was just to understand how each individual's levels really vary. That was like a big eye opener for me in terms of,
Varies of
you.
like how much each person needs of those different
Mhm.
categories. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
What
So
like
you and I,
contributes to that? Is it age?
yes, exactly. So there's something what we call the basal metabolic rate. And this was like
I've
eye-opening for me
probably
too.
heard
Yeah. So basically, what it means in a nutshell is you and I have completely different lifestyles potentially. We have different levels of activity. We have different, I'm not sure what our ages are, but whatever the
I'm old,
case,
so I'll
we
admit it.
have, like, based on these things, our gender as well, your history of dieting, so how much you're eating, if you're a chronic dieter or if you have been a chronic dieter, that also affects your metabolic rate. Your metabolic rate can be high or low or whatnot. So there are all these factors, and that contributes to how much energy you need and I need in a day just to sustain ourselves, right? So it could be, I'm just going to throw a number out there, um, like 2,000 calories for me, 2,200 for you. I hate to think of things just as numbers based, but when we are talking about measuring things and being real accurate on how we're tracking things, there really is just, I require a certain amount of energy, you require a certain amount of energy. Every single unique individual has a certain amount of energy they require to function optimally. And I loved that so much because how many times have you like jumped on a diet or jumped on like an eating program where you just didn't know if what you were eating was enough? How can somebody who is, or a man who is like 6 feet tall, I'm 5'1", who is 6 feet tall and has a completely different lifestyle, how are we eating the same diet? Because there are programs like that out there. And so understanding macros and understanding like metabolic functions and how it's so unique to every single person and their lifestyle was just, it made nutrition just seemed so much more personal and something really worth it to pursue.
So
Mhm.
like I'm just gonna throw this out there because this was
Go
me.
for it. Yeah.
And I'm running on fumes. I'm tired. So my body is naturally craving sugar and caffeine as a quick,
Mhm.
let me get this hit so I can like
Yep.
make it through morning time. Okay.
Mhm.
And then after morning time, like I need another cup of coffee. And then
Mhm.
after lunch, I need an optimal way to live. But we can get trapped in that. I was for
Mhm.
years because we're so depleted, so depleted. So
Yeah.
if mom is coming from like that place, this
Mhm.
concept of what things I need to eat to be healthy and how much protein and how that sounds so intimidating. I don't even have enough
Absolutely.
energy to like go
Yeah.
reheat the cup of coffee. So
Mhm.
what would you say to that mom? Like, where do you even start with all of this without like figuring out like I have to do all the math because I ain't doing math. I like numbers. I'm glad
Sure.
you bring that up
Yeah.
because it's important. But like
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have time to even think about this. We're
Yeah.
doing multiplication over here, and I'm just lucky we
Yeah.
got through the lesson today.
So the easy answer to that is hiring a coach
Okay, okay.
who will and you know this, who will walk you through that and explain, and a good coach will explain the
Help you
value
come up with
system
a
behind it.
plan.
Exactly.
Okay,
Come
okay,
up with a plan and really starting from there. What
okay.
I would tell that mom who is just feeling that way, I would ask them, what are you eating before you're having your coffee? What are you fueling with yourself at the beginning of the day? And I feel like the most basic place to start with that perhaps most people are not starting with is protein intake. So protein intake will help you feel fuller for longer periods of time. And yes, generally speaking, if there's a reason we reach for the carbs and the sugar when we're tired, because that's what our body prefers as an energy source, right? So most people will probably be over carbohydrated, I
Yep.
don't know if that's the word, and
Sure.
over
We're gonna make
fat
that up. We're gonna make
fueled,
that. I count it.
yeah, and under protein, generally speaking. So
Yeah.
most clients, when I start with them, I look at their protein intakes and they're really quite low. And that's where I would start, definitely. And if you don't want to do the numbers, I would say start your day or at least prioritize having protein at every meal. And whatever you choose as your protein, double it at every meal and see how that goes. See how that goes. And that's just generally a good way to start
Yeah.
increasing protein. So, just for numbers' sake, you want to aim for your body weight in grams of protein, which is high, which is like a good amount for most people that aren't very like intentional or aware of it.
Yeah.
But again, before getting into numbers, if someone were just to chat with me, I'd be like, whatever protein you're having now, prioritize it at every meal and then double it at every meal and
Yeah.
see how things start to feel there.
I like that. That's very,
Mm-hmm.
can do that.
Simple. Yeah, exactly. It's doable. It's
But
possible.
like
And that's what
again,
you're
too, I
saying.
feel like I agree with
Mm-hmm.
you too. And as I've talked to people in the space of like my age, they're even like,
Mm-hmm.
you need even more protein as you age.
Mm-hmm.
And most women, like menopausal women, don't get anywhere close to the amount of protein that they need.
Sure.
I just think back to like when I had, like you, I had 3 kids in 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
trying to homeschool and do all this stuff. And it was like, I'm lucky if I'm eating leftover chicken nuggets for lunch. Like, let's just
Mm-hmm.
be honest here. Like, I was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Sure.
getting food into everybody else. And then if I got some food, okay, great. And it was like, I was always trying to keep up. And I
Yeah.
never felt like I was really prioritizing
Mm-hmm.
myself in all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how can moms take the steps to go, or how do you even think about why should I even be focused on my own nutrition when I have all these other people to feed and all this other stuff I'm thinking about on a daily basis? Like, why is this important
Mm-hmm.
to consider?
It is an aspect of self-preservation, right?
Yeah.
So we need to really, the reason as homeschooling moms, like we have this ability and gift to wear so many hats, right? We do so many things, like you said, and we juggle competing priorities, needs of children, manage our homeschool, eat chicken nuggets for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever we can scrape off. And we want to parent and teach or guide our children, do all these really beautiful things and have a perfect Instagram profile and be able to share it. But pursuing optimal health, and this is to answer your question, pursuing optimal health, regardless of how we're going to start doing that, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional health, is absolutely necessary. It's a non-negotiable in our ability to do all those responsibilities, do our job and do it well, right? If we're not prioritizing our health today, something's going to suffer in the future. And it will either be the way that we interact with our children tomorrow, the way that we end our school year, the way that we begin our school year. I've started so many school years completely depleted and just went on that whole wavelength through that whole year. And I feel like you said, the older we get, the harder it will get, right? It doesn't get easier as we get older. In fact, as we get older, we are going to just have to work a little bit harder, be a lot more intentional about movement, a lot more intentional about nutrition. And yes, although it may seem like we have all these other important responsibilities and things that we have to get done before we can focus on ourselves, I feel like that is really a disservice to who we are as moms. And it's not a great example, I don't think,
Right.
to our children, right? It's not. And for example, just when I started working out at home in 2020, we had a screened in porch, and I would tell my husband, lock this door so that my kids couldn't go out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they would be at the door staring at the window like, Mommy. And I'm like, guys, I'm with you for 23 hours of the day. I
Yeah.
like to take this hour. And now they know when mommy is working out or when she's food prepping or when she is talking to clients and helping clients. Like they know this is part of what makes me me. This is part of my lifestyle. Oh, mommy, you need to get up and get some steps in.
Yeah.
How many steps do you have? Like it's already ingrained as part of who I am. Therefore, they know. So it's like when our kids are seeing us just like scrambling to like just get through the day, like
Yeah.
that's what they see. And I we all have our feelings, or at least I know I have my feelings about staying home and pursuing my desires. And also because that is a full-time job in itself. Like, I don't
100%.
know how exactly. So I also wanted them to see a part of me that had a passion and was fueled by something else.
Sense.
And that happens to be like my health. And they know we talk about protein, we talk about fiber all the time. So it just becomes part of the narrative, the speak we have at home. So
Yeah,
it
I
is a
think
mindset
that's so good.
shift for sure.
Yeah, what you said is so important because I feel like a lot of times people can be like, "What's selfish for me to focus on myself and take care of
Mm-hmm.
go spend 45 minutes out in the screened-in porch doing a workout," to change that mindset of that of and I came to that point too of what kind of example am I setting for my kids of what being a mom is? Am I showing them like being
Mm-hmm.
a mom is this like drudgery, you're always tired, it's
Yeah.
always hard,
Mm-hmm.
or like am I showing them that no, this is a wonderful gift and a wonderful calling and it's super
Mm-hmm.
like I'm passionate about it and it's great. Like I wanted to show them that, but I also wanted to like model for them kind of healthy habits. So I think there's two things that you that brought up that are really important. One is having something, obviously it's not going to be nutrition for everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not for
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
having something that is that you are super passionate
Mm-hmm.
about and then
Yep.
letting it overflow into their lives so they can see I can pursue my dreams. I can try new things. I can,
Mm-hmm.
have interests and they seeing you grow and thrive in that, whatever that is for you. But then
Yeah.
also
Mm-hmm.
I am taking care of myself physically, mentally, spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm modeling that for you so that you see, oh, this is what it means to be a healthy adult. You don't just eat
Mm-hmm.
leftover French fries that fell in the
Mm-hmm.
car, like you
Mm-hmm.
meal prep
Yeah.
and you have healthy food. And this is why you
Mm-hmm.
are making these decisions to care for your body. And like uh,
Mm-hmm.
modeling that for them is a huge motivation. And so I'm so glad you brought up those 2 points because I feel like we can get so caught up in the daily grind that we miss the big picture. And we
Yeah.
need to ask ourselves, especially like this time of year before school starts, what are you doing to take care of yourself physically, mentally?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're not going to like Charlotte Mason talks about habit building. We're not going to change
Mm-hmm.
everything tomorrow. So, okay, but
Exactly.
living on
Exactly.
donuts and caffeine,
Yeah.
what some
Yeah.
small things we can do, or some
Yeah.
small ways we can bring in more movement, like you mentioned, but also what are
Sure.
some things that you've always wanted to learn about, or you've always wanted to try, or you've always found interesting, and how can
Mm-hmm.
you start bringing that more into your day as
Mm-hmm.
well?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
I feel
definitely bring
like when pursuing those things that are outside of your what you have to do, right?
that up. The things you have to
um,
do and the things you want to do,
yeah,
right?
yeah. At the end of the day, when you feel like you don't have even have energy to finish the things you need to do, how on earth are we going to get to the things
Yeah, have
that
you seen
we
my laundry
want to do?
pile? Yeah.
Exactly. However, that's why I feel like it's so important that we start to prioritize our health and like optimal health. Really, I'm not saying you need to become a gym rat and go to the hit
Yeah.
the gym 4 days a week because there is or be like eat really healthy foods all the time because the marketing behind the fitness and nutrition world, it can be very intimidating. My life is never going to be like that. I'm never going to be able to
Right.
meal prep all of my meals. It's
Yeah.
never going to look like my life never looks like that. However, there are things that I really put at the forefront of what I wanted to work towards. So this notion of habit training, right? So I really feel like it was just removing the emotion out of it and being like, I don't feel like that. This is not going to make me happy. And just doing the thing, just getting started and taking action. So when it comes to like movement goals, for example, which I feel like now looking back, I was so tired. I was so exhausted when I had 3 kids under 3. And I was like, I don't think there's any way I can move anymore. And
Yeah.
it really wasn't true. I was generally quite sedentary now
Mm.
that I think about it, because I was so tired from just the
Right.
domino effect of
Yeah.
everything. But how many times, and I'm not calling out people on this, but this was just more of an awareness that I had. How many times did I have play dates with my mamas and we just sit and talk, which is so important. But I'm like, how about we walk and talk
Yeah.
a little bit, incorporate a little bit more movement? Because once I started to have more movement in my daily life, I started to have more energy
Yep.
for the outlets that I wanted to get into. And I feel like that's not something you'll necessarily feel right away. So some people might get really discouraged at the beginning. But again, it's just being consistent with habit training. I really feel like habit training in both Charlotte Mason and my life as a nutrition coach has been very impactful for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some of those like movement goals for a little bit. I loved what you said about rather than sitting at a picnic table and letting the kids play in the playground, maybe once
Mm-hmm.
or every other time, we can walk with the strollers instead
Mm-hmm.
and get some
Yeah.
movement in. And I love that too, because when you do things with friends, it makes it more
Mm-hmm.
likely to happen because you have the accountability and
Yeah.
you're going to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it. So then you're going to want to keep doing it because you actually like it. Are there any other tips that you have for parents, especially like when you're homeschooling and you have
Mm-hmm.
little ones, to find
Yeah.
time for adding in the habit of movement in your day or your week?
Sure, absolutely. So I thought about this before our talk because I knew a lot of friends that I know who don't necessarily prioritize it, who might struggle with it. And it really is at the first part of it is it's not part of your daily life right now.
Right.
So yes, it's going to
Not
feel
now.
awkward. It's going to
Mhm.
feel weird.
Yep.
You're going to be like, I don't want to do this. You want to see what is the end game. Like you have to see what do you want your life to be. Obviously, if you're thinking I need to move more, well, then what is that end goal? What does that look like for you? Because you're going to have to do the work in between to get there,
Right.
right? So if it really is just I need to move more, and you're at home with little ones, you don't have. If you're like me, um, there's been times in my life where I wanted to wait for the optimal or perfect time to get things done, right? So I would, when I first started homeschooling, I was like, the dishes need to be done and the kitchen needs to be
Yeah.
clean before we start lessons. We all know if that happened, I'd never get to year 4 of homeschooling. So it really is once that perfect timing comes, let's say you do get it, it's not going to stay perfect. You have to
Yeah.
move with what's happening. And the idea here is yes, we want to have a mindset of readiness, but I think the bigger piece is that we want to be continually taking action. So, just movement goals, for example, the way that I measure it with my clients are step goals. So, most people have smartwatches, most people have phones that can count your steps. Personally, I hated wearing a watch for a really long time, but then when I started to prioritize, okay, I need more movement in my day, then I thought, it's really not that bad to
Yeah.
wear a watch and keep track of that because it became a value of mine. And that comes together also with like belief systems, right?
Today's episode is brought to you by A Gentle Feast. A Gentle Feast offers a complete living books curriculum, an award winning early reading program, and more tools to equip you to apply Charlotte Mason's timeless philosophy into your modern homeschool. Go to agentlefeast.com to check it out. Smooth and easy days are closer than you think.
So if you're just going to be stuck in that will never be me. And I can't do that. I'm never going to like take walks and enjoy it. I'm never going to just that kind of thing. That's just not me. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have to like, so just that step count, for example, I hated wearing watches. And then I was like, now I want to know how much I'm walking. So I will wear a watch. And 4 years later, I'm totally fine with it. But if you don't want to do that, you can set a timer on your phone. And generally, what I do on days where I'm low on step counts is I will look at my watch and be like, I am not sitting down until I hit 7,000 steps. And I will just walk around the house. There's plenty for me to do around the house.
Oh, yeah.
Just clean up, tidy up, organize stuff. I will text while walking
Yeah.
or do stuff just while moving. And really, it's just that movement habit. So I've had clients that were starting at 4,000 steps a day, and I bumped them up incrementally, and now they're hitting 10, 11,000 steps
Yeah.
no problem. And I will
Yeah.
talk to them like, how does that feel? Is that a struggle still? And they're like, actually, no, it's not that bad.
Mm.
Now, and I just feel like movement begets movement. So the more you get your body in motion,
Yeah.
that's
Like,
that's how our bodies are built. They want to move. So setting a timer. So if you have a timer on your phone, which you do, obviously, set 30 minutes and then just walk around. Do
yeah.
stuff around the house, do all sorts of stuff that you can without having to sit down. It's just, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have
Yes.
to be taking a nature walk or
Right. You can even
anything
read
like
aloud
that.
to your kids and walk while
Exactly.
you're
That
reading
is
aloud.
something too. Oh, girl, I have video of me
Yeah,
walking
me
back
too.
and forth in front of my and that's just what has to get done. That's truly prioritizing what your check boxes are throughout the day.
I
And
love that
it is
because
a mental shift. Mhm,
it's when it's in your mind that this is a
mhm,
priority, having a goal, a target, right? It's not just, oh, I might exercise sometime this week. Like, no, so
mhm.
vague, it means nothing. So having an actual,
Yes.
I'm gonna walk 5,000 steps today and having a
Mhm.
way to measure it, but then having the flexibility of it doesn't have to happen between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7. Like
Yes.
I can break it
Yeah.
up throughout my day and do it little pieces. And
Mhm.
like you're saying, of getting out of this mindset of it can only happen this way, and having the
Mhm.
flexibility of no, there's lots of different ways it can happen, because I think we get into this mindset of, okay, if I'm going to start moving, I got to buy a gym membership, and then I got to buy the right shoes, and then I got
Mhm.
to buy the right clothes, and then what am I going to do with my kids when I'm
Mhm.
at the gym, and then I got to work out the
Mhm.
schedule, and we make it so
Mhm.
complicated, and then it never happens.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
Yes.
can I walk back
100%.
and forth
Mhm.
while reading aloud to my children? All of us
Yes.
can do this, right? Walk around with my kids and pick up stuff around the house. Absolutely. Like,
Yes.
it's
Absolutely.
how can I actually make this happen
Mhm.
with what I'm already doing in my life? Is that kind of right?
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. So if you take your kids to the park while they're playing in the park, you can just circle around the park instead of,
Yep.
you don't have to do it the whole time. Something is better than nothing. Like 10 minutes. Yes, I do. Rest is a huge component when it comes to optimal health, but there are also major risks like involved with a lifestyle that is lacking enough movement, enough
Mm.
physical
Right.
movement. And I
Right.
feel like that research is just abundant. So of course that is, I feel like it's a responsibility to ourselves and a responsibility to model that for our children.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
actually have these like walking dance workouts that I do that
Yeah.
like so many steps. So like on YouTube,
Oh,
like you
I
can
think
look
I've
up
heard of
like I
that.
need
Yeah.
1,000 step walking workout. And of course it's ABBA and disco music and
Yeah.
stuff. But whatever it is that you like, you always have to be like, I'm walking, I'm power walking, and I love to dance. So you can bring in
Hmm.
that kind of thing with getting your steps too, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like
Hmm.
make it fun.
Yeah. And like my husband loves to like, this is his personality. He'll be like, the best thing you can do, the best, he loves to talk about the best things. Like the best exercise is this. And I'll always interject, the best exercise you can do is the one that you enjoy and that you will continue to do.
Yes,
And that's it. What you enjoy, what you love, and will get you achieving that goal that you want.
yeah, and the nice thing about steps is your kids can walk with you too, like, and
Hmm.
see you walking, and
Yeah.
it's like part of
Yeah.
like your daily routine and habit after a walk
Yeah.
around the block and get them.
And I feel like fitness walking and steps is like a trendy thing right now. Wow. It's just a basic thing
Yeah,
that has been around, but it is very impactful. I just feel like people could be a lot more movement oriented, and the easiest way to do that is just to get up and walk and move. And it can be around your house. I have a power couple client, two clients, married couple that I'm working with, and they walk around their kitchen table at night, their
that's
kitchen
so cute.
island at night, and just to get their steps in because they have a little one and they can't like necessarily leave the house and they work full time. So they're just doing what they need to do. And they'll like, our family members think that we're crazy, but we're going to get our steps in. And I'm like, that is what prioritizing looks like. And granted, they're probably not going to do that for the rest of their lives. They're going to find other outlets for moving, but you just have to start somewhere in order to keep moving forward. And I feel like how hard is it when you're starting something, right? How hard is it? Like from the moment I started, I decided I'm going to start homeschooling. I was like, never mind the curriculum and the co-ops. I'm like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Now that I've made this decision, like, what's the first thing that I do? Just and think about it. No, you have to start being actionable about it. So just moving forward, and again, like movement goals with nutrition goals. Nutrition goals can be a little bit more tricky, which is why I always felt like my nutrition coaches were always super helpful because they helped me just narrow down where to start kind
Also,
of
too, I guess it's like this with homeschooling too,
stuff.
but there's so much confusing information about nutrition. It's like,
Hmm.
don't eat this. Oh, eat this 5 times a day. And then,
Hmm.
oh, now you're not supposed to eat that anymore. And it's
Yeah,
like, no, what to eat.
yeah, yeah.
And
And I
it's
just feel,
very overwhelming, like with different homeschool curriculums and philosophies. And like, where do I even, yeah. So answer that question. You mentioned protein, but is that what you would say? Okay, I just need some very basic, simple nutrition in all this noise. Start here.
yeah, I would start, yes, with protein intake and fiber intake. Those are like,
Give me the lowdown. All I can think about when you say fiber is like those little powder you put in the water, like when kids can't
sure,
poop.
yeah.
So, what are you-
Yeah. Yeah, I just, so I really feel like fiber is something that is really under talked about.
yes.
Most people have that association with fiber. But the thing is, we need fiber to help with our digestion, to help with our GI health, to help with regular bowel movements, with removing the stuff that our bodies like don't need or don't want as well. Like you should be having like regular movements. Sorry, this is going
Everybody
direction,
poops.
like
I don't
at
know if you've
least
read that picture
one or
book,
two,
but
like yeah.
we all have that happen. So
Is
it's
that
all
on the
good.
reading list? One or two times a day. Like these are things that I talk about in my coaching program. Like we just go like into the nitty gritty. What do your functions look like? What is your biofeedback? How are you feeling? And everything is measurable. So yes, protein intake, again, double what you're eating currently is a good place to start. If you want to start looking at numbers, aim for your body weight in grams. There's a whole protocol, there's a whole methodology that I go through with my clients. And I don't expect people to just catch on to it right away. But as long as I'm planting a seed in there to know that increasing protein will do wonders just for your brain clarity, for your energy levels, for your like feeling fuller for longer periods of time. I feel like when I upped my protein intake, that's when a lot of things started to feel a lot better. Yeah.
So, how do we get more fiber
So
other than the
fiber
powder
rich food.
stuff?
So sure. Yeah. So anything like whole grain, some more complex carbs, fruits. So raspberries, berries, avocados, nuts have a good amount of fiber. And your fiber goal, generally speaking, I shoot for between, and again, it depends where your fiber intake is at right now. So if somebody's having 5 grams of fiber or 8 grams of fiber a day, I'm not going to be like, all right, now hit 25 from now on. The same thing goes with protein. When I get my clients to start tracking their protein intake and they're hovering at like 50 grams a day and they're like a 160-pound person, I'm not going to be like, okay, now get to 160. It's all working incrementally and working to what they can hit and just keep pushing harder. So fiber, you want to generally optimally aim between 20, 25 to 30, 35. It just really depends on the person and how they react to that much. And again, you want to just like, that comes back to also tracking what your food and what your intake looks like. But stuff like whole grains, fruit like raspberries, strawberries, oranges, all those things have smaller amounts of fiber. Now, when you get into the cereals and the powders, then they'll have like bigger amounts of fiber. But if you want to like look more for a whole food option, I would definitely look into those areas for sure.
Yeah, and that's so important for our kids to have enough fiber.
Yeah,
This is all
yeah,
around. It's important for you to know this for yourself, but you
yeah,
actually this will bless your family too. Like you're
yeah.
talking about, just if your kids are having trouble focusing during school, they getting enough protein. Like it's
Yes,
so
that's
important for them too.
exactly it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly it. And also, one thing that I really felt when I started this journey specific to like focusing on a macronutrient balanced diet or like way of eating, I realized even though I had a pretty solid background on health coaching and what are healthy foods and what are foods that we should limit or whatnot, I just realized I don't know how to eat. I don't understand how to feel good. Like I'm eating all these good foods, but I still don't feel good. And it really was because I wasn't fulfilling those major building blocks of what I needed. So the carbs, the protein, the fats, they're all so important. And I really, anything that advises to restrict, like strongly restrict any of those
Yeah.
areas, it's not a good idea long term. And that's the whole thing. You want sustainable skills. And I really feel like what I teach my clients are skills, really. Like they generally come with goals and we work towards those goals, but I want the skills that they're learning to achieve those goals be things that they are going to just carry with them till they're like 7 years old. I'm like, I don't want you to be in your 50s trying to figure out your nutrition. You're in your 30s now, and we're going to figure it out now.
Yeah. So what are some of those skills? Is that the skill of tracking and understanding
Yeah.
proportions? Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so you mentioned meal prepping.
Mhm.
Can you give a little bit of information about why that's important or how you incorporate that?
So meal prepping is just a way. Okay, so some people, there's a difference between meal planning and meal prepping.
Okay.
So meal planning, a lot of people will go into like purchase meal plans or be on a diet with meal plans, which may work for them. However, I really think that in order for your nutrition, for you to own your nutrition, you have to understand and honor the foods that you enjoy, right? So if you're cooking all these meals and you get great results, but you don't necessarily enjoy them, or it's not necessarily something you can see yourself long term doing, I'm kind of like, well, why don't we just shift? Look at your nutrition profile right now. What are the things that you enjoy, and what are the things that you're missing? And let's work around that. So when it comes to meal prepping, why I feel like it's just so effective is because it really just eliminates the decision fatigue throughout the week, right? So if you are just like, oh, I don't have a meal for me, so yeah, I'm going to eat the chicken nuggets or the
Yeah.
leftover goldfish or whatever. If you took, and it really doesn't take that much time. Generally speaking, what I'll do when I want to meal prep for the week is I'll cook a meal for my family and just double it.
Yeah.
So once that's doubled, I have our meal for that night and then just be able to, box it up for me for the rest of the week, knowing I have Monday through Friday's lunch ready. That's what I have. And then I'm not stuck like after lessons being like, I'm so hungry. What am I going to eat? And that was a
Yes.
really big thing. Exactly. That was a really big thing for me is that I would get to like lunchtime and be like, I am fading, I am falling apart. And it really just did contribute to me not being able to achieve goals that I was, toward. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I didn't enjoy meal prepping. I really didn't. I do now for the value it has.
Mm.
And that's the main thing about most actions is
Yeah.
understanding the value of it and why it brings value and why it is a worthy investment of your time to train that kind of habit.
Mm. Now, do you only prep your meals or do you prep like everyone's?
I generally prep my meals. My husband eats at work on the go. And then my kids, they typically rotate on the same meals anyway.
Okay.
So they're pretty easy to, if we have a meal, they're generally, we have about 2 nights of leftovers
Yes.
for that. So
For lunch.
I
Yeah.
don't necessarily intentionally prep their meals.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So I love your perspective. I feel like it's very doable. It takes some of the overwhelm out of it and then just saying, okay, these are simple steps that you can take and then using like the compounding effect of habits. Like once you get this down,
Mhm.
working on adding more protein. Okay, now you can work on adding more fiber. Okay, now you can work on are you getting enough steps? Okay, and just doing the next thing rather than trying to like completely change everything all at one time. But as we wrap up here, what advice or words of wisdom do you have for the moms who are like, this is all very new to me. This is not
Mhm.
something I've considered in my life, but I know I need help.
Mhm.
What do I do, Jill?
I feel like when you want to start to make changes. So, where I would start as they're expressing this to me is that they obviously have a vision of what is optimal for them, and wherever they're at right now is not. So I would explore that and be like, what is it that you want? What is your goal? Truly, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Um, and really start to cultivate a value system around what you want your nutrition habits to look like and what you want your movement habits to look like. And that is solely, I want that to be unique to every single individual, right? So if they just have no clue what to do with their nutrition, that can be challenging for me as a coach, for
Yeah,
sure. When people
sure,
come in and they just like have
yeah.
no clue what to do. And I'll say, let's start by looking at what your life looks like right now. What are you eating on a day-to-day basis? How is it making you feel? How are your energy levels? And once they start to think about it, then once they start to draw on an awareness, that's when they
Yes,
become a little more intentional about it.
right.
If
Like
we're
just
just kind of
even
like
noticing. So is that what I hear you saying? Like the first step is just to be aware. Because most of us,
awareness,
sometimes we're
for
just
sure.
living in
Yeah.
Groundhog's Day. We don't
Mhm.
know what we're eating.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. But why don't we make that Groundhog Day nutrient dense and in a
Yeah,
way that we, because that's what will happen once you
yeah,
start to draw awareness and you start to apply. Like, my methodology is it's dry, it's numbers based, but it really does work. And I'm not dry by any means. I'm not numbers based,
yeah.
but once you start to track what it is you're looking, and if you talk to people, they will admit, yeah, I need to start keeping track.
Mhm.
I need to start keeping track of what I'm eating when I feel like this or when I don't feel like this. So there is this awareness that people feel like, I need to be a little bit more aware of my habits. It's then taking that extra step and being like, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get a journal, whatever your style is, a notes thing on your phone, start writing down or like jotting down what you're eating throughout the day. If it's like written pen and pencil, or put it like on your kitchen table, writing down what you're eating, what handfuls of snacks you're eating. Or for me, I just always like a good meal tracking app and putting that in. And that's really drawing awareness. So if that's what I would recommend as the first step, I always try to like gauge how people react to that. Because
Yeah.
one of the first things my coach said to me upon our discovery call, she said, if you're not ready to track your meals, you're not ready to work with me.
Mm.
And that
Wow.
was a very big thing for me, because I was like, I don't want to track my meals, so I guess I'm not going to work with you. And then I didn't for a while.
Oh,
And then I realized there was a missing piece. And yes, it was very uncomfortable. And so you're going to have to dig into these uncomfortable things, uncomfortable actions, and uncomfortable truths that are telling and revealing in order to keep moving forward.
wow. That is so interesting. How long did it take before you were like, okay, I'll start tracking?
No, I don't know. And see, the thing with tracking is I didn't have a great experience with it when I went through extreme dieting phases. You know what I
Yes. And
mean?
I feel like there's probably a lot of people
Mhm.
listening who are like,
Yes.
oh, I'm not
Yeah.
going there. Like I did that and
Mm-mm.
that was
I
unhealthy.
get
And
it.
did not have a
Hmm.
good relationship with
Sure.
food. And
Hmm.
that's not what we're
Yeah.
talking about. We don't
No.
want you to
No.
have that
Yeah.
either.
No.
Just
No.
want to be
Yes.
very clear.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. And that is, and I
And
understand
I'm
that
so glad
completely.
you're
And
saying
that
that
was
because
my.
I
Mhm.
totally went there too.
Yeah. And then that's why I was like, no, that's not for me. I just want to eat and
Yeah.
figure it all out while
Eat,
I'm
drink,
eating.
and be merry. Yeah.
But but that's the thing. Eventually, once you have the education of what it is you're eating, have the education of what you need, start to practice that, and then have results, then you get to new evidence that this works,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
it's the new evidence part. So there's like previous, oh, I don't want to do that. It sounds like a hassle. It sounds like neurotic. I don't want to have that relationship with food. But it really depends on what the background and the value system is
Yeah.
behind it. So and that's like really emphasizing a program that has your health and your long-term health at the forefront, right?
Yeah.
Not just like crash diets. We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
So what I'm
Right.
talking about more is a solid value system shift, really, and understanding the values behind what it is you're tracking exactly,
Yes.
and not just I don't know. This is talking for me, shaming myself into what did I eat
No,
today? You
no,
know,
it's
I know
very
some people,
important because when you write it
yeah.
down, that's
Yeah.
the first place a lot of our brains, I know mine goes, right? Oh,
Hmm.
why did I have that extra helping of chips and salsa? Like,
Yeah.
I really didn't need
And
to have
like,
that. What's wrong with me?
exactly.
Our brains
And
naturally go there.
mhm,
And so then we resist doing stuff like that because it's if I
mhm.
don't write it down, then it maybe didn't really
Yeah,
happen.
then it didn't happen.
And I'm not just talking about like nutrition, because what I coach people with is like time management and the life coaching stuff, but even just getting people to track how they spend their time. Oh, I don't want to
Mhm.
write that down because we don't want to know that we spent 4 hours on Instagram today. Like,
Exactly.
and so if I
Yeah.
don't write it down, then I don't have to be accountable.
Benjamin. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And it's especially when it comes to food that it stares you in your face when you have these reactions that like,
Mhm.
oh, maybe my relationship with food isn't the greatest right now. And I just feel like once you start to work through that and start to work toward what you should be eating, and yes, that can include food that you love. It should include food that you love. Otherwise, it's just not going to be sustainable. Then you realize you have just a greater understanding of what owning your nutrition can look
Yeah, no,
like. Hmm.
that's really good. And I think it's being okay with dealing with some emotions that we don't really want to feel.
Hmm.
And that's why I think like having a coach, life coach, health coach, whatever is so key, because it's like you need somebody there, like in the wing, cheering you on, going back, get back in,
Hmm.
you can do this, it's going to be okay, and helping
Yeah.
you process it, because it's so easy just to give up when we don't. And even when homeschooling, when we get that
Hmm.
resistance and our kids doesn't want to do the lesson, and it's just, oh,
Yeah.
never mind, but it brings up all these feelings of I'm a failure and I don't know what I'm doing, and we don't know how to process. We
Yeah.
in our culture, we never really learn those skills.
No,
Talking about skills,
exactly.
but with even food and movement, a lot
Hmm.
of times we have to work through the emotions first before we can
Sure.
take those steps to start
Absolutely.
move forward
Hmm.
with those things. And that's why having
Hmm.
somebody to process with is so key.
Absolutely.
So if people want to connect with you and hear more about what you do, and I love your Instagram post, especially like your workouts with your kids. It's so cute.
They're never scripted. They just come in.
I know, but they're
Like,
so
okay, let's
adorable.
do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where can they find out more?
So right now it is mainly my Instagram page.
Okay,
So
good.
it is my handle is Jill Fit Journey, and people can reach out to me through there.
Okay.
I have a link there that if people are interested in one-on-one coaching, just making that application so I can review like what it is, goal wise, and if it would be a good fit for us to work together, because it's always important to know what people's backgrounds are and what they have gone through. And as a starting guide, it helps me as a coach be able to know who I'm talking to. So there's an application form linked in my Instagram page right now that you can visit. And
Super.
I also have a website, which I think I passed you
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll put in
the
that show
website.
notes for
I
sure.
don't know it by heart. But
Yeah,
yeah.
no, no worries. Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. If you want to connect with
Yeah.
Jill, we'll put her Instagram account
Hmm.
and the website in our show notes. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. This was really great. It was very
Absolutely. Thank you
valuable
for having me.
information.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, let me recap some of the key takeaways from my conversation with Jill. So, first of all, you want to understand what you are eating. Learn about the importance of balancing carbohydrates, fats in your diet to sustain energy and overall health. Number two, start with protein. Increase your protein intake, as this can help improve your energy levels, your satiety, and overall well being. Aim for your body weight in grams of protein per day. Number three, incorporate movement. Small, consistent actions like walking while your kids play can significantly improve your fitness. Prioritize movement in your everyday daily routine. Number four, meal prepping simplified. Doubling dinner recipes to have lunch ready for the week can save time and ensure you're eating nutritious meals consistently. And last of all, track and adjust. Tracking your food and movement helps increase your awareness and allows for better adjustments to meet your health goals. It's not about perfection, people, but consistent improvement over time. Thanks for listening. Hey there, Julie Ross here. I just wanted to say thank you for listening to today's episode. If you like this show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a positive review in iTunes. This really does help people learn about the podcast. And each month, I will pick a winner to receive a free gift. Don't forget to check out all the free resources we created for you at thefeastlife.me. Thank you.